So another saying that I try and remind myself of a lot, or a couple sayings actually, related ones, um, is one of the big ones is e- entertain the possibility that it could be something else, right? Allow yourself to entertain the idea that what you believe might be wrong, or that what you think is happening might not be happening. It might be something different. It's something I say a lot when people have a lot of certainty on a topic, right? And I think the phrasing is important because it's not, you're wrong. It's not, you're likely wrong or you're probably wrong. It's simple and it's subtle, and it's, hey, you could absolutely be right, but just entertain the possibility that you might not be, right? Allow your mind to do that for a few minutes, and just let that play out. And I think there's something safe feeling about that concept of just entertain the possibility, just the possibility of it for a little bit. I think it allows people almost to what I've talked about before, the whole idea of kind of fake it till you make it. If you get people to buy into that and say, okay, I'm game. Up for 2 minutes, I'll entertain the possibility and kind of go through that thought process. Even that 2 minutes can be a huge victory because it can get people to start going down a rational or logical path that says, okay, maybe I can slightly see the other side a little bit better, or have a little bit more empathy or understanding of that other side. And one of the areas where I think, or the instances where I think this is so crucially important, is when somebody takes a set of facts, and a set of facts that could have at least two different, very likely explanations or outcomes from it, and they assign one to it with certainty. And I'll give you the perfect example, in the times we're living in with the coronavirus. And I could probably pick three or four or five different examples around this, but I'll just pick one to illustrate it. You could take the simple idea of, there's lots of what some may call conspiracy theories out there right now. There's a lot of people that believe, what we're being told by the government or by the media about this coronavirus is false, right? The numbers are suspect. These stay-at-home orders are a way to control the population. The vaccines that they're creating, that's what it's all about. It's for big pharma to make money off the vaccines. You can kind of go down the list of different things where people say they see this event that's happening, they see an unprecedented response to it, and their belief is that it must be some sort of conspiracy or some sort of, either it came out of a lab and it was a bio attack, or it was an intentional attack, or it's got to be something. And what they'll rely on is a set of facts, right? They'll rely on this set of facts of, the unprecedented measures being taken to try and stop this virus, the stay-at-home orders, the unemployment rate that's kind of shot up. They'll look at things like the numbers of deaths, that it's relatively low, and it should be higher if it's something more serious. There must be something going on here. They look at all this information. And particularly, they look again at the actions that the government and health officials are taking around this. And it feels so heavy handed that there must be something going on. So, this is the perfect opportunity where I would say entertain the possibility that it might be something else. And in this case, it's particularly important because it's so easy to entertain it. Because if you really think about it, it is true that if the government were trying to control us, or they were trying to manipulate us in some way, or create this kind of conspiracy around the virus for some evil reason, it would potentially look a lot like this. But it's also equally as true if this is a real virus that's as dangerous as at least they believe it may be based on the information they have right now. This is also exactly how it would look. This is what you would expect. You would expect mass effort to try and contain this really potentially deadly, dangerous virus. Now, that's not to say that, you know, in hindsight, a year, 5 years from now, people won't look back and say some things were missed, right? Maybe some things were misinterpreted, predictions were off, measures that were taken might have been too drastic. Possible, certainly possible. But in this moment, if this were what they're telling us it is, this is exactly what it would look like. And again, it's fair to point out that if it were something else, if it were some sort of conspiracy, this is probably what it would look like too. So I'm not dismissing that. What I'm saying is don't be so sure. Entertain the possibility, the very real possibility in this case, that it could be just a deadly virus that they're trying to, save people from. And again, this idea of it would look a lot like this if it were a real virus, right? And you can almost ask I guess the negative of that, right? You could say, what do you think it would look like if it genuinely were a dangerous virus that they didn't know enough about yet and they feared that it was deadly? What do you think the world would look like in that scenario? And what you'll find, most rational people would start to explain a scenario or explain a situation that looks very much like this. So again, that's not meant to say that that's definitely what it is, but it should at least allow you to entertain the possibility that, like, yeah, I guess that's true. It probably would look a lot like this if it were a real virus. So that allows you to at least be a little bit more objective as you're taking in information, as we've talked about 100 times before. If you've already made up your mind that this is some sort of conspiracy or government, effort to control the population or whatever it is, as you see new information come in and stay-at-home orders get extended and new concerns come up without maybe it's impacting children more than they thought it was initially, it's going to be very easy for you to consume that information and say, yep, see, there they go. Look at that. They're trying to scare us more, right? They're trying to lock us down more. These are all the things I would suspect they would do as part of this conspiracy. But again, remember, if they truly just don't know and they're trying to figure this out on the fly and it is a dangerous virus, it would also look just like that. So keep that in mind. Every time you're certain of something, say to yourself, hey, let me entertain the possibility that I might have this wrong or that it might be something else. And let me just play through that thought exercise for a bit and see what it would look like. And if you come out in a place where you say, nope, would look totally different, okay. At least you've done the homework and you've pressure tested it a bit. There's really no risk in it. But there's a decent chance you might go through it and say, I wasn't thinking about that. So maybe let me not be so sure in this scenario.